Yeah, Lecitus, curious how different the room feels from last year. I mean, that was the most, like Vice said it, you guys were 10 deep, and now numbers are kind of an issue, especially this spring. Does it feel different, and how's kind of that change kind of spring practice for you guys?
Yeah, it definitely does feel a little different. With a few guys gone, a few new faces, but it's like that every year. We bring young guys in, or we have some transfer come in, or we have some guys leave as transfers. Transfer to different schools. So um, it feels a little different, but I always, whether it's talking to the media or whoever about the O line, I always emphasize on how we need to bring the young guys along, and this is a prime example of that. We don't have a lot of depth or anything like that. So we have some younger guys that's going to have to step up in a major way and do it pretty quick. And like I said, that's why I always emphasize, bring the young guys along. Whether he's a 2 or 3, a freshman, a sophomore, it doesn't matter. Like, we need everybody. We only as strong as the weakest link, as Coach Rice would always say. So, like I said, this is a prime example of that. We need those young guys to step up. So we really trying to, get them on their stuff.
And your partner in crime, Christian Darrisaw, gone. And it sounds like Luke Tenuta is kind of sliding over. How is that kind of new partnership going? And is Luke ready to kind of take over at that left spot and make sure there's no sort of dip in play?
Oh, 100%. I definitely believe that Luke Tenuta can handle the challenge. I mean, he's a challengeable guy. He definitely is. In these few spring practices we had, he stepped up to the plate. Got his job done, did what needed to be done. Of course, we all know Christian Darrisaw is a great player. That's my brother. I wish him nothing but the best. But I mean, he left, and now it's time for that next guy to step up, which is Luke Tenuta, and I definitely believe that Luke Tenuta can get the job done. There won't be a dip in play. I feel like you know, we can get the job done, and we will.
Any difference between Luke and Christian, is it personality wise or play wise at all that you've noticed so far? Any differences or similarities, I guess, between the two?
No, not really. I would say personality wise, yes. Well, I mean, of course, off the field, they're two different guys. But on the field, I mean, I talk to Luke the same way I used to talk to CD, Christian. I tell him, if we're running outside play to the left, to our side, I tell him, I got your back. Go ahead and take your steps. Don't worry about the man falling back inside. I got you. I tell Luke the same thing. If we're sorting, I tell him, go ahead and set wide. Don't worry about the 4 or the 5 coming back inside because I got your inside. I got your beak out. I talk to Luke the same way I talk to Christian, and that's why that chemistry was so good with me and Christian because I wasn't afraid to talk. I would tell him whatever I was thinking on this play or that play, and I'm not saying every time I was right. Sometimes I'll be wrong, and we talk about it, we talk it out, and that's why that chemistry was so good. Because we could talk to each other. We wasn't afraid to say things to each other. Whether I was slacking and he had to pick me up, or he had his head down and I had to pick him up. And it's the same way with Luke. I help Luke out when he needs help, and he does the same with me, whether it's double teams or what. So I definitely think Luke is is a good player. I believe Christian is a great player. You know, Luke just he has to put in that time this season, I guess, to try to get to that status where Christian is, I guess, because we all know where Christian is. So, but I think it'll be a great one. I think it'll be a great season, and Luke could definitely step up to the plate.
Thanks.
Andy?
Yeah, Lecitus, I know you put out the tweet after the season saying that you were coming back, not going to the NFL. I'm curious how seriously you considered going to the next level. And when you see guys at Pro Day recently, do you envision yourself in those shoes sometime soon?
Yes, sir, I do. It's a really good question. I mean, because uh, that was a really tough decision for me this off season. This Christmas break we just had off. I was spending a lot of time with my girlfriend, and down at her people's her mother's house, and just hanging out there, and I just made so many phone calls, whether it was to my uncle or to my mom, my dad, and what was crazy is all those calls were pretty much similar. I get on the phone, I talk to them, whether I'm talking to my uncle, my mom, my dad, whoever. They all say, I love you, but this is a decision you have to make 100% on your own. You have to go at your heart. And I'm just like, sheesh. So nobody was pulling me in any direction or anything like that. It was like, this is your decision. And I'm like, sheesh, like, how do, where do I go? Like, what do I do? I feel like I just didn't want to make the wrong decision, I guess. I didn't want to make a decision that harmed me or my future or, anything like that. And I definitely feel like I made the right one, 100%. I'm here. I'm locked in. Me and my girlfriend, we sat down and we talked about it a lot. And her response was, it's on you. But just whatever decision you make that decision with 100% confidence, and you move forward. Looking back, saying what you could have did, what you should have did. Whatever decision you make, you stick with that decision and you move forward with it. No looking back. So it was definitely a tough one, but I feel like I made the right one.
Was there a conversation with a coach, or did you get any NFL feedback that pushed you one way or another?
Yes. So I did talk to, of course, I was talking to my coaches here. I did get some feedback from the NFLPA. And it was some okay feedback. I feel like I got some okay news as far as like where my stock was. And I also felt like I wanted to better that stock. I want to be a first 3-round type of guy, first 2 rounds, hell, even first round. If I can do that, in my mind, I feel like I can do that. Film don't lie. Film don't lie. So I won't sit up here and boast or talk about that a lot because, like I said, you're who you are on tape. So I definitely put that on full display this season and show the nation who I am and what kind of player I am. And hopefully I am a top 2 round or first round type of guy.
I know general improvement is probably what you're hoping for, but is there anything specifically in your game that you think you can do that can lift you up to that level?
Yes, so I did hear from a few scouts that I need to work on my lower body flexibility. So this summer I will be doing some hot yoga classes, working on stretching my lower body and things like that, working on my knee bend in the run game, making sure I'm more effective in the pass game. As far as like hand placement, I really want to work on my punch this summer. Making sure I'm punching within the, inside that frame and not clamping outside, but making sure I'm, shooting my hands in the right spots. Make sure I'm more effective in the pull game. I feel like I did a okay job, or I guess a good job this year in the pull game and getting down the field, but I could definitely do much better. Getting around that edge and, knocking out a DN or taking out a linebacker, I could definitely do better, and I will.
You haven't been a big hot yoga guy in the past? Is that brand new to you?
No, I've never. As a matter of fact, I've never did hot yoga. I tried yoga once with my girlfriend. Didn't go well. It didn't go well at all. I was in the class at McComas, and she wanted me to take this yoga class with her. And I'm doing the class, and I just, look around. And I'm like, I am the biggest person in here. And I immediately felt uncomfortable. I couldn't do a lot of the stretches, they had us doing. And I'm just like, this ain't for me. But I didn't have the mindset I have now. After hearing it come from scouts and, hearing that, football players do yoga, to really, like whether it's upper body, lower body, whatever, just to like really stretch themselves out, I know that's what I need. So I definitely go in there with a different mindset and embrace it.
Thanks.
Yes, sir.
Let's go to yoga enthusiast David Teal.
Lecitus, you mentioned earlier bringing the young guys along. What have your observations been of Parker Clements?
Parker Clements is, that is he is a young guy, of course, but he's definitely coming along. And that's not, of course, he's not where he wants to, I'm pretty sure he's not where he wants to be and everything like that. None of us are, honestly, but, he's embracing the reps at practice. I can say that, and I'm proud of him for that because, we'd be at practice and you have young guys or, sometimes even older guys, we're doing one-on-ones against our D-line and they get beat and they shut down. They drop their head and they walk off and it's just like, but that's not him. I can say, maybe when he first came in, he showed a little bit of that, like signs of that, like getting beat and almost shutting down. But now that's definitely not him. He's a guy that's embracing the reps that he's taking, and he's trying to get better each and every day. Whether it's like steps, hand placement, sets, double teams, everything like that. So I'm definitely like proud of him for doing that, because you have to embrace it. You're gonna lose reps. There are gonna be D linemen that are really good, that are, swim you or defeat the block. You got to learn from that. The only way you lose is if you don't learn. If you attempt to double team and you get your hips outside and, you don't get pushing that on that 3-tech, okay, that was a bad rep. But if you could come back, do the same rep and make it look better, that's a win. You learned from that. And I feel like that is what he's doing. He's embracing it. So he has a bright future.
You also mentioned having spent some time during the holidays with your girlfriend's family. After all the rigors of last season that every team went through with COVID, how good was it to get away from football? How refreshing was it? And in hindsight, do you think it was a good decision to opt out of postseason?
It felt very good to, just get away from football for a while. I mean, don't get me wrong. I really, really love this sport. I do. From my first love, I love this sport. But at the end of the day, this was a very crazy season. It was a very different season. I've never been a part of one like it. A lot of us haven't. But and I feel like that's why I felt really good to get away from the game. A lot had happened this season with different teams opting out, or a lot of players opting out, and teams not sure if they were going to play the day before the game or the day of the game. So all of that was crazy. It was very nerve-wracking. And, after this season, it just felt really good to just, get away from, football, get away from Blacksburg, and just get out of town for a little bit. I definitely enjoyed myself over Christmas break. I really enjoyed myself. And as far as the bowl game, I mean, it happened. We did opt out of the bowl game. Some people wanted to play it, some people didn't. I mean, if we had played that bowl game, I would have won 100%, and we didn't play it, and I'm okay with that. So if we had played, I would have been 100% fine with that. We didn't play it, I'm still okay with that. So I hope that answers your question. I mean, I won't say whether it was right or wrong. I don't feel like that's my space, but yeah, I would have been okay if we played it or not, and we didn't. I was fine with that.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Norm.
Lecitus, it doesn't matter if you're 320 pounds, if you're 185 pounds, man. Yoga will make anybody feel like a fool when you're doing it for the first few times. I tried it; it sucks.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So you think you play 2 positions. Vance Vice thinks you can play 4 positions. What's the push and pull like there? He said by the end of spring, you will know you can play 4 positions. What's that all about? I mean, is it just a situation where you just feel comfortable playing 2? You can play 4, and you're just kind of getting to that point, or what?
So I actually like that. I like that. I didn't know he said that, and I'm glad he did. I can play 4, and if you need me to, I'll play 5. I'll get out there and snap the ball if you need me to. I'll definitely work on it. I mean, hell, I want to show that I'm valuable and that I can play multiple positions, because on film in the game, you'll only see me playing the left guard spot. But I'm happy that because when I initially came in, a lot of I played tight end, and the first position I got moved to was left guard, and I've been there ever since. But, and there's been a few practices, even last season, where I did get moved to left tackle. And I got out there and I took a few reps, and it didn't go bad or anything like that. I feel like it did pretty well. But I'm glad Coach Vice feels this way. I accept the challenge. I definitely do. And, I want to put on tape that I can play multiple positions. I'm not just left guard. I'll play right guard. I'll play right tackle. I'll play left tackle if you need me to. And like I said, I'll learn how to snap that ball if you need me to as well. So I'm happy Coach Vice feels this way. I accept the challenge, and I'm definitely up for it. Definitely.
As you kind of reflect on your time playing alongside Christian, how much easier did that guy make your job, or did it make your job more difficult because you were kind of getting more attention along the front?
You know, I'll definitely say he made my job easy. You know, a lot easier. He did. Like I said, I mean, if players were coming to our side, I really didn't have to check out there or worry about him, you know, looking outside beforehand or as the play going, like, oh man, let me see if his man slipped back inside. That rarely happened, if ever. You know, if they did, he got a hold on him. He just like log jam the edge, and I get around. And like I said, that's that chemistry that we had. You know, if we're supposed to get around to the front side backer, and he got the DN trying to run with him, okay, forget it. I'm gonna get up. I'm gonna get up inside and get the back of myself. Or if you got the DN trying to pinch and everything is log jammed, I'm not gonna sit there and we're not gonna sit there and just chop our feet blocking one man. I'm gonna get out. I'm gonna get around. And I'm going to go get the front side backer. So, like I said, that's that chemistry we had. But with Christian being a great player he is, he did make my job easier. And we've had conversations where he thanked me and go, thank you, bro. Like, you know, he felt like I made his job easier as well, whether it was double teams or setting together and everything like that. And, you know, like I said, it was the chemistry we had. It was, like I said, I always over-communicated with him, and I do the same to Brock. I do the same for the right side. If we got a Zoom call, I'm going to scream the Zoom call so the right side can hear it. You know, and it's just, like I said, it's all about the communication, but we were just so in sync. And as far as me and Luke Tenuta, I feel like in due time, we'll get to that spot. I don't think we're there now. As of now, I feel like we're in a good spot. I do over-communicate with him as well, but I just can't wait till, you know, it gets to a point where I talk, but I don't really even have to say anything. It's like we're almost thinking the same thing. I feel like that's the type of level that me and Christian was on. Not in a weird way, but I feel like before a play, me and him was almost thinking the same thing. You know, so I definitely feel like he made my job easier, though.
Coach Weiss was talking about a guy like Daniel Milicic when he comes. You know, he obviously, this is all new to him, and he said, you know, he didn't even know what Fruit Loops were when he came to start with you guys. So is there a little bit of culture shock going on, do you think, just with learning this game and getting used to the new teammates and that kind of thing? I mean, more so than the usual guy coming in for the first time?
I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna say yes. There's a little bit of a culture shock there. A little bit though. I mean, he's coming along, but you know, I remember his first week here. Before we ever even put on the pass for spring ball, I remember talking to him, telling him, you know, as an offensive line, as a unit, we went out into the indoor and just running plays, going over plays and steps and things like that. And he would step the wrong way or he not block the right man, and he gets so frustrated with himself. Like, he gets so upset with himself, like, oh, come on, like, you know, like really being hard on himself. And I just had to tell him, like, you know, everybody left the field, and I told him to, you know, stay behind so I can talk to him. And I'm telling him, like, man, look, you're okay. You know, you're a freshman. You got time. You know, I mean, you definitely want to learn this stuff, don't get me wrong, but Coach Weiss doesn't expect for you to know the whole playbook in a week. He doesn't. You know, he's not going to put you out there that first spring practice and go, okay, and run every play we have in the book to test you. You know, he's not going to do it like that. And I don't know what he was thinking. I don't know if he thought that was going to happen or whatever it was. But like I said, I just remember him being so hard on himself. And now he's kind of, you know, calmed down, and he's able to just listen and focus. And you know, he's a guy we definitely have to bring along, and he has a lot further to go, but I think he has a bright future as well. He's definitely a guy that can be a nasty dude, you know, so I think he has a bright future.